Why hello there, welcome to Weenie Trades. SPY today had a Doji day. It was a little bit indecisive and we'll be covering that and its expected move into the end of the week. I also want to be talking about Nike earnings. Nike beat its earnings and is up after hours. I'm going to be talking a little bit about my NASDAQ futures trade, Amazon and Tesla, and then I'm going to be breaking down stocks from the community. So right now, SPY had a Doji day. What does that really mean? Well, we were indecisive. We have a little bit of a lower wick, which means the buyers were a little bit stronger than the sellers, in my personal opinion. And in the morning, if you guys are watching the pre-market live stream, they really want to press it. So basically what I'm saying is with that, we might see a higher high first, squeeze out like a few more bears, and then just go in a wicked crash. Otherwise, we might just have like a mild drop or consolidation. I was saying that we are likely to push higher first and then sell off because look, we were so close to the pre-market highs and Friday's highs. They probably just want to squeeze some bears and then it can do its routine flush. And it was pretty interesting. There was a really long consolidation period. It's a little bit tricky sometimes to trade those, and you have to really decide when it's going to break out. But I tried once, twice, 3 times. Stopped out 3 times and then it rolls over. Stopped out on the short side, that is. But overall, S&P, nice good move down into 441. It's a pretty interesting level over there. If we just look at the hourly time frame, that was Thursday's high. So Thursday's high marked today's low. Nice good bounce off that level. So moving forward on the S&P, we do have a little bit of resistance at about the 453 area, and the expected move into the end of the week is about $8.30. So what does that really look like? Well, if I take out my handy dandy drawing tool, that's about SPY 453 area. If we're coming up into that area, we're probably going to sell off. Otherwise, if we are selling off first, we might find some support at that 436 area. So 436 is support. 453 is resistance from this point forward. Now, I didn't think that SPY was going to rally this much, but I don't think many people exactly were. Maybe they were, maybe they weren't. But SPY really pressed far past the edge of the expected move last week. And that just shows a lot of strength for the bulls. So basically that gives SPY a lot of space to go sideways and then launch pad, or SPY can pull back first and then go from there. But otherwise, we might see a higher high based off this pattern just because we had that wedge and the explosiveness of this breakout was pretty good. So I expect something like this sideways to slightly higher on the S&P short to medium term, maybe like 1 to 2 weeks. But then after that, it'll be difficult to decide whether we're going to eclipse these highs or break any of these highs. That's still the less likely scenario. However, just like last week, I have to continually update and see where the SPY is headed. So that's the S&P. So while SPY was getting pamped up during market hours, Nike was getting pamped up in the after hours. And Nike over here, a nice good push after hours. It's up here at about 138 in the after hours, and its expected move for the week was about $10. So basically a slight win for the bulls, but still we have the rest of the week to decide if Nike wants to continue on higher. So Nike, nice good after hours reaction. Short-term support is going to be that 134 area, and that's just the opening price of Monday right now. And I do see just a lot of supply on the 4-hour chart right over here. And what does that really mean? Well, we spent a lot of time in this zone. If we're coming to it from the bottom side, it could be a little bit of resistance, at least on the first go around. So Nike, watch out for resistance at about that 144 area. Otherwise, watch for that support in the 135 zone. So that's Nike. Real quick, I wanted to talk about MNQ, and I wanted to just touch on why I was looking to short the market where I was on the intraday. And it's because we made a new high of the day. We made a new low of the day. Okay, right here, at this point in time, bulls are trapped. Are we going to flush lower, or are we going to give them a chance to get out? We gave them the bulls a chance to get out, and we had 2 choices once we were flagging up here. We're either going to launch pad or we're going to sell off. What is the risk to reward though? Always think in terms of risk to reward. Here's our R, and then our reward is all the way down there. So that's why I was trying to short. I was really just caught in consolidation, stopped out right there, and I had already stopped out 3 times, and so I didn't really take too much of the flush. But what I was able to capture instead of that last short trade was Amazon puts. And what I like to do when I'm shorting something is I like to take profits either at 1R or I like to, so short Amazon right there with a put option, which is pretty decent size. I mean, leveraging $300,000, probably not the smartest idea, but as long as you know you're out, your stop loss, you can do it. But either way, Amazon, good flush. I took profits on an IV spike just in the next like 2 minutes, but realistically could have held. Nice good drop further. So Amazon, nice good moves. Tesla, well, this was an interesting trade. Shorted once right here. Stopped out as soon as we started to break the high, but I did nail the high of the day and was able to catch a decent rollover all the way down to like the 922 area. So shorting up there, TPing down there, but still not a huge trade because of that first stop loss. So Tesla, pretty interesting. I do expect probably a little bit more consolidation. If not though, yeah, look at that daily. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row. It would not be out of the ordinary to go sideways to slightly lower from here. However, if the S&P is gapping up and running towards that 453, you're likely to see Tesla much higher at probably like the 960 to 970 area. So that is Tesla and Amazon. Again, I do think Amazon is going to roll over. I mean, if we take a look at this, I was actually down on the day because I was holding short positions that expire in June on Amazon. You can see those right over here, a bear call spread and an out of the money put debit spread. But I was able to get green by buying a put, and then as Amazon flushed, I sell the next strike down. So pretty cool. I am expecting the similar thing on Amazon, sideways to slightly lower. But if the S&P is screaming, all of these stocks are going to be screaming. So that's just my take and my trades for the day. So let's talk about Rivian, RIVN. This is, join the Discord, by the way. The reason Rivian is up here is I just asked people in the Discord, hey, what do you guys want broken down? And oh, look, McNarls is getting his in. Good job I checked. Good thing I checked the Discord before I did this. But basically right over here, some of your tickers. All right, SLB, CVX. Let's add those. SLB, CVX. We can also add CF, MTDR, wire. Hope I'm not too late. You made it, McNarls. You made it into the video. Congratulations. So there we go. So let's break down Rivian first. Bearish. This is bearish. It doesn't mean it can't rally those short term along with the S&P. So Rivian, gosh, what an amazing move. Beautiful bear flag over here. You know, drop underneath 100, another bear flag. So Rivian's just gotten completely beat up. It keeps dropping to a new level, establishing that as balance, and then flushing again. So right now we're just coming to back test the former breakdown area. Usually that means we could find some resistance, or it might go sideways at least. Other than that though, Rivian, the expected move for the upcoming week, $4.38. Yeah, I could see it. Yeah, that's basically it saying it's not likely to come above this resistance of about 51. So selling something like 51 calls could be the way to go. Other than that though, I don't think there's an edge in buying it or shorting it. I think it just doesn't really go too much of anywhere. So Rivian, that's just my take on it. It was a good short, no longer really a buy nor a short. I expect volume to probably just dry out and people get less interested on Rivian. So that's RIVN. Let's check out SLB. SLB, interesting move. So a nice little wedge pop, a breakdown, back testing the wedge breakout. Now moving higher. If we look at SLB, $2 expected move. So this one's a relatively slower mover. What I'm eyeing up is this kind of gap over here. Gaps, they don't have to be filled, but they just tend to be magnets, I find, in my opinion. So if price starts to get close to that magnet, it might suck up in there. We can also see a gap that almost filled today, but it did not. Usually that means that's going to be our reference point short term. So what does that really mean? Well, this gap right here, it almost got to it today, 41.59. If we close hourly above 41.59, it's likely going to create a vacuum towards the next gap at about 43. So that's kind of the range you have to play with. Otherwise, come underneath today's low and you'll likely see this gap turn into a magnet, 39.73 on SLB. Let's check out CVX. CVX, Chevron, hey, pretty interesting. This is definitely going to correlate with the price of oil. Yeah, mostly correlating with the price of oil. /CL is the oil futures. And boom, nice good short trade like 2 weeks ago. That was the trade of the month. $200 into $800 times 2. That was awesome. But other than that, oil, I expect it maybe it could go up a little bit more in the short term, but I would expect just like more consolidation, maybe sideways to slightly higher from here. I would say CVX, it seems enticing, but the meat of the move is likely over. Could it go on off again? It could. If you're somehow able to manage your risk and you're able to buy it and manage it as it's going higher, all power to you. But I'd say the meat on the bones was eaten. They already ate all the meat off the bones. So now do you expect that to happen again? It could. Or does it get a little bit more compressed or just go sideways? That's just my opinion on CVX. Looking at the chart or the expected move, $5.67 is the expected move on CVX. So yeah, 169. It's basically not expected to really break these highs this week. But yeah, and it's not really expected to break this range low. So that just means likely just consolidation, sideways action for CVX and potentially oil. Let's check out AMD. AMD kind of looks like the SPY, a little bit different. Semiconductors still did pretty well today. AMD up 2%. I know Nvidia had a beast mode day today, up 1% actually, so less than AMD, but crazy price action on Nvidia. High of the day, low of the day, straight into a new high of the day, higher low. So Nvidia holding up well, but AMD, pretty interesting. Let's pull up the daily over here. High, lower high, kind of cracked the lower high. You have a little bit of a mini pennant pattern. So let's just do this. We have our flagpole. Let's duplicate this and extend this outward. If the market gets going and everything's pretty bullish, you could see AMD in the mid to upper 120s. If AMD takes out today's low, we are likely to see consolidation. So if you see AMD underneath 112, just expect sideways chop shop. And if you see AMD take out that like 109 level, it could be a flush. I think that is the least likely scenario, at least for this week, in my opinion. But anything can happen. So 109, potential flush point. Underneath 112, consolidation. And as long as we hold this breakout area, 115 to 116, we could chug a lug on higher. Short term, there is resistance coming up at 119 and also 122.62, this breakdown candle high. So that is AMD. It looks like I already kind of broke down NVIDIA, but similar thing. NVIDIA has room up to 280. So 280s would be the stretch target for NVIDIA for the next week or so. Other than that, though, today's higher, today's low. Underneath today's low, we probably come on down to the lower 250s. Above today's high, and we're probably going to test at least the midpoint of the range, upper 270s. So NVIDIA, expected move for the week, $17. That generally coincides with the support and resistances drawn right here. You can take a screenshot if your heart desires. Let's check out KBCA. Never heard of this stock. I don't know if that's a stock, but I don't know. But let's check out Apple next, AAPL. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. Do you know that eating apples, the skin on apples, it's supposed to help like clear up your lungs? I didn't know that until like a year or two ago. But pretty cool stuff. So clear up your lungs with some apple skins. And it's just healthy for you in general. Apple looks very similar to the market. Actually a little bit stronger, up on the day. This thing's a powerhouse. Do I expect Apple to see all-time highs? No. But Apple could probably get up to just this consolidation range. I don't know if it does it this week, but maybe like next week or so. But resistance on Apple, everything 170 to 175. There's, of course, short-term resistance and trending resistance coming up at 169. So that's Apple. But with this type of bounce, it could pull back even halfway. It could pull back to like 156 and still be just fine and do something like that. I'm just drawing a bunch of lines. These are just hypothetical scenarios. I'm just drawing like equilibriums. You can call it Elliott wave, whatever you want. But that's just what I'm trying to do is figure out what's the most likely scenario. And Apple, with its expected move being about $4.67, that seems about fair. That coincides with that 169 resistance that we have coming on up. And otherwise, if it pulls back, it's basically saying, yeah, about 160 is going to be that support. And that coincides with the SPY about 436. So have these levels memorized, and then you can decide on what the price action looks like when we get there, whether it to be to the upside or the downside. Right here we got Oxy, OXY. Beautiful move. Earlier I was talking about how we are likely to go sideways after this up move. We went sideways. I actually even have a down arrow drawn. It did go down slightly, but now it's popping. It's going off. Nice, good move on OXY. As long as it holds the prior breakout area, it's a breakout, right? So breakout area 59.49 on OXY. If you see that hold as support, it is more likely to continue up than down. What I'm not a big fan of is that there's high volume, and looks like that was a dividend day, I guess. But there's high volume in the consolidation. Sometimes that leads to a little bit of shenanigans. But either way, into the end of the week, expected move is $4. So that means we could be at about 65. That would be the upside resistance if you see OXY continuing. And you can probably see it at about 56, 57 if we are selling off into support. And so that's kind of the support and resistance, or the edge of the expected move. Of course, we can go higher and we can go lower. SPY just blew past the expected move, which is rare for an ETF. But SPY blew past the expected move. OXY can blow past the expected move. Let's check out CF. CF, similar thing. CF Holdings, expected move on this one is $6. So yeah, 107 area is that resistance. And boy, 95 area, that's going to be the support, and that's going to coincide with the gap. So that's your support, that's your resistance. Very similar thing as long as the breakout area holds. It's good to go. It's good to go. Volume still a little bit sketch. So me personally, I would stay away from these unless you bought at the open today. I don't see any favorable entries. Maybe you can mark that prior pivot high, see if it holds above 100. Could be bullish. Otherwise, it doesn't really get bearish anytime soon. Maybe if it breaks this pennant to the downside, maybe if it's coming underneath 86, then we could test the former breakout area back over here. But either way, the CF, similar thing. Let's check out MTDR. Matador. Very interesting. Matador Resources Company. Never heard this one. I don't think I've ever broken down this stock. Thank you for showing me a new stock, McNarls. But either way, there's the flat top resistance, high, potential lower high. However, the strength of this has me interested for sure. MTDR, expected move, $7.36. That's a pretty wide expected move, but that is until April 22nd. So we have an extra, month almost when we're looking at these options. Bid-ask spreads a little bit wide. I wouldn't trade this with a big position size just because it costs a lot to get in and costs a lot to get out. But that's just my opinion on MTDR, Matador Resources. Watch it take out that pivot high. If it does, cool. Then it can continue on higher. Volume looks sketch as well, but at least it's trading over 1 million shares, which is a criteria needed for smooth trading. So that's MTDR. Let's check out Wire, W-I-R-E, Wire. And if we just check out this nice breakout over 121.50, not too shabby, not too shabby. We got higher lows. We got that flat top. We popped. This is actually a potential reversal candle. Although if the market's going higher, the market will go higher. So we got this kind of resistance over here. And look, we almost engulf a lot of Friday's move. Not as much volume though. But either way, usually that candle signals sideways to slightly lower short term. But if the market's, gapping up or running, this is going to be running as well. Next resistance is not too far away though, at about 138. And that's the breakdown candle. There's another breakdown candle at 142.36. I would not expect Wire to get past this high anytime soon. Pays a good dividend though. Pretty interesting. So expected move, $11. That's about 148 on the upside. That's a pretty high expected move. Sorry, 141, 142 area. So that's this bolded line right over here. That's going to be your resistance. And your support's going to be about 119. And that's just underneath that prior breakout area. So a little bit wide of an expected move, if you ask me, on Wire. But not as much relative strength as I'd like. Stock is down 3.5% on the day, while the market is just kind of being indecisive and having a doji day, which is what I was kind of looking for when we were doing that little lower high pivot straight into the flush. But either way, that is what I have for today's video. Oh, actually, wait, one last thing. So I've just finished the book, Forex Trading Quick Start Guide. It was recommended to me by Romulus, by his good friend Troy. It's a really good book. I'm going to actually leave a book review, and I'm going to do it in video format. So be sure to check it out. It's going to be really good. I read through the whole thing. It's absolutely amazing. Lots of cool stuff in here. And, you know, be sure to check out Backpack Trader. That's where Romulus is helping out. It's really awesome. So just go to search Backpack Trader on YouTube. I'll link it in the description, and it should be pretty interesting. There's a lot of new things to learn each and every day, and each and every day I'm learning things in the market. That's for sure. So thanks for tuning in. Parker, he's sleeping. He says hello. He looked up. He's like, what's going on? Like, oh, okay. It's just a YouTube video. Okay. Oh, bye-bye for now.